Israel's President Isaac Herzog. Here's a clip from earlier in the Oval Office.
We're also going to discuss the ironclad commitment the United States has to Israel based on our principles, our ideas, our values. They're the same values.
You are a true friend of Israel, Mr. President, and the United States is our closest, strongest historical ally. Our friendship and strong bond transcends all political differences and opinions and parties.
You couldn't really see it from that short clip, and I don't want to pick on our president because I watched the whole thing, and I know he's exhausted. He just got back from a long trip overseas. But watching the two presidents, I was struck with how President Biden, speaking to President Herzog, kept looking down, reading to him, reading notes, but not talking to him, but basically reading to him. In contrast, Israel's President Herzog looked our president in the eyes and talked to him like you and I would speak to each other. But both presidents, by the way, continued their discussions in private, and the nature of the conversation may have been different than what we just watched, which I just described. According to reports, the topics they discussed in private included the safety of Israel. And tomorrow, Herzog is headed to Capitol Hill. That is where he will address Congress, marking Israel's 75th year of independence. Several Democratic members of Congress plan to boycott his speech. Among them is Democratic New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Today, this is what she said.
There's currently a crisis of democracy and apartheid. I will not be attending.
And this past Saturday, Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair and Washington State Representative Pramila Jayapal said this.
We have been fighting to make it clear that Israel is a racist state.
The Congresswoman, after criticism from even within her own party for that statement, somewhat backtracked on those remarks. She clarified that her comment was not referencing the country of Israel as a whole, but the current Israeli government. And moments ago, the House voted on a one-page resolution from Republican Texas Representative August Pfluger. The resolution denounces anti-Semitism and defends Israel. The resolution reads, quote, "The state of Israel is not a racist or apartheid state. Congress rejects all forms of anti-Semitism and xenophobia, and the United States will always be a staunch partner and supporter of Israel." The resolution passed overwhelmingly 412 to 9 to 1, who just voted present. Those against the resolution were Democrats, mostly members of the Progressive Caucus. And of course, as I noted, one Democrat just voted present. All of this comes amidst a very frosty relationship between President Biden and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Biden has criticized some politics of Netanyahu's conservative government. Biden is particularly vocal in his disagreement with Netanyahu's efforts to limit the Israeli Supreme Court's ability to overrule Israel's parliament. Yesterday, the White House announced Netanyahu and Biden did speak by phone and that both leaders will, quote, probably meet before the end of the year. It's notable President Biden has not met with the Prime Minister since Netanyahu was reelected last November. Member of the House Homeland Security Committee, Texas Congressman August Pfluger joins me. He's also a decorated fighter pilot and colonel in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. Nice to see you, sir. That was overwhelming in favor of your resolution, and that's good news. 9 no's. What in the world was the one who just voted present? Do you have any idea? Because we sort of pay people to vote yes or no. So why did she vote present? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't have any idea, and it's just hard to even imagine the 9 no's and then much less the 1 present, which is not a vote at all. I mean, you say present for some sort of conflict of interest. You know, there is no conflict of interest here, and in fact, President Biden, in his comments that he was obviously reading to President Herzog, said that we have an ironclad commitment. You know what would be nice is if he got his party under control and he told those 9 radical liberal progressives that are seemingly running the entire White House and the administration that we do have an ironclad commitment. And that's what this resolution said, is that we're not going to stand for anti-Semitism, we're not going to stand for rhetoric that is hateful. We do support Israel, and we will continue to do so for the first 75 years and for the next 75 years.
Well, you know, what's sort of notable is that when Congresswoman Jayapal made that statement that Israel is a racist nation, her Democratic Party did make a statement essentially in condemnation of it, but they didn't name her. You know, and I thought that was sort of cowardly. You know, they're calling out her statement, but they didn't say who she was. So there does seem to be a lot of fear of the Progressive Caucus within the Democratic Party. They don't dare name them or call them out, and these 9 are not going to get called out by the president.
Well, you're absolutely right. And that's the fear that has driven the Democrat Party so far left to a radical position, whether it's Secretary Perry talking about energy, which in my district, we produce a tremendous amount of energy, and they want to completely kill the fossil fuel industry, or whether it's these hateful statements about Israel, our most trusted partner in the Middle East, somebody who we face down the threat of Iranian state sponsor of terrorism. These people need to be shunned for their comments because they don't represent America, they don't represent reality, and they certainly don't represent the way we feel about our best partner in the Middle East, Israel.
Well, 412 members of Congress, which is